Today on Future360, we're betting on little ways to innovate.
I'm Peter Sims, the author of Little Bets.
A business school graduate and former venture capitalist, Sims is now a best-selling author and entrepreneur. His latest book is Little Bets, How Breakthrough Ideas Emerge from Small Discoveries.
What's the top way a company can innovate?
Instead of having a big idea instantaneously, have lots of small experiments that you build into a great idea. Much the way a comedian would work, to take small club routines, try lots of things to develop a full act. It takes 6 months to a year. It's perfect by the end, but it doesn't start that way.
How can technology people best work with creative people?
I think technology people can work well with creative people if, one, as Steve Jobs, the best programmers always listen to music. So you got to get into that right side of your brain, not be too focused on the analytics, and be able to just roll with your colleagues by doing improvisation when you're developing ideas early. So you build up each other's ideas by saying yes and rather than criticizing at the outset. I think that's one of the ways they can work very well together.
Who is your most inspiring leader or innovator and why?
I would say the most inspiring innovator to me are the people at Pixar. They have created a company that has not only had 13 blockbuster films, but is constantly learning and improving. And so as Ed Catmull, the co-founder and president of Pixar, says, building a company is like a constant creative process. He's still trying to figure out how it works. And that's the mentality, I think, that makes for great companies.
What are the top 3 findings of your book, and how can we all act upon it today?
The top 3 findings are, one, that we all too often use a planning mentality when we try to do something new. We try to get it all figured out before we start, when instead we should be using lots of experimentation, lots of small bets to figure out what to do as we go, a learning process rather than having to be a genius. The second thing is that I think we're too focused on being perfect. So everybody feels like, again, you have to have everything polished before you start, when in reality, if you look at how Pixar works or how novelists work or how comedians work, they start in a place that's what they call sucky and go to non-suck by the end. And that's a quote directly from Ed Catmull, the co-founder of Pixar. That's their process, going from suck to non-suck. And I'd say the third thing is just to be able to have fun as you go and not take yourself too seriously and be able to be playful, because that's how you're going to unlock creativity in yourself and others.
And what's the future of innovation?
We, for a long time, thought we needed to have everything figured out before we do something new. And the future, I think, is going to be about unleashing a part of ourselves that is more creative and that's there in every one of us, but that has been trapped, suffocated, and stifled by these very rigid systems that we've been taught, for a good reason, in the past, the industrial era. And the future is going to be much more about, having both sides of us fulfilled.